David Martinez is a poor boy trying to survive in a dystopian future society. He lives in a city run by organized crime and an addiction to implanting mechanical parts. Thanks to his mother, who worked tirelessly for her son's education, David studied at one of the most prestigious academies in the city, despite being poor. However, David cannot afford the same expensive equipment to attend classes as his classmates. David asks his friend, Doc, to help him modify his equipment to work like his classmates. Unfortunately for David, the mod doesn't work, and he corrupts the class's system. The school calls David's mother to come and get him and to give him an account of the damage to the system. While they're on their way home, they get caught up in a gang shootout, which ends in a car accident. As a result of the accident, David's mother dies, completely devastating him. Drowning in debt and being bullied by his classmates, David decides to implant a military-grade modification that his mother had to improve his abilities. Before Doc installs the military-grade part on David, he warns him about the danger of losing control and becoming a cyber psychopath. However, David doesn't care and insists on having the implant placed. The first thing David does after getting his upgrade is to beat up the classmates who are bullying him. Later that day, while taking the subway, David realizes someone is stealing data chips from people. Thanks to his new powers, he catches the girl, Lucy, the chip thief, who offers him a chance to work with her in exchange for money. David agrees, as he needs to pay off his debts. The first job goes off without a hitch, but when they're splitting the money, David suddenly falls unconscious for no apparent reason and is taken by an ambulance. In the ambulance, David and Lucy are attacked by the nurses, who want to remove David's expensive mod. They manage to escape thanks to Lucy and go to see Doc, who tells David that they shouldn't use the implant more than 3 times a day, as it could melt his brain. Lucy takes David to her house, where she reveals that she's a netrunner. Moments later, some mercenaries arrive looking for David. When the mercenaries find him, they discuss how to remove the Sandevistan implant. However, David asks for an opportunity to prove that he could be a cyberpunk like them. Maine, the gang leader, tells him that he will give him a chance, but if he fails, he'll rip the Sandevistan from his corpse. A day passes, and Maine contacts David to steal information from Arasaka's high management using the Sandevistan. The team manages to steal a chip for David and Lucy to access the target's car. Once inside, Lucy steals the information they need, but the car locks, and they can't get out. Maine tells David to take the car to an old friend, and David drives while being chased by Arasaka security. Using his abilities, he and Lucy make it safely to the drop-off point. One of the Arasaka soldiers follows them and is about to kill David, but Maine arrives just in time to save him. The job is a success, and Maine accepts David as a gang member. A few days later, David calls Maine for a job since he's bored. Maine offers him a simple task to keep him busy. When David finishes, Maine introduces him to the team: Dorio, Falco, Kiwi, Rebecca, and Pilar. Maine teaches David how to drive, and they take on more jobs together. During this time, David also strengthens his friendship with Lucy. As he stops being a rookie, he becomes more skilled in his new criminal life, even implanting mechanical lungs to run faster. David is quickly considered part of the group and is appreciated as family. One day, while the group is passing through a vacant lot, they encounter a man publicly urinating, which annoys Pilar. He decides to confront the man, who turns out to be a cyber psychopath, and shoots Pilar in the head, killing him instantly. The group fights the cyber psychopath and manages to kill him, but Lucy gets injured in the battle. David decides to take Lucy to Doc for an examination, and later that night, after a deep conversation, they end up kissing. After their first job against Arasaka, Tanaka, one of the company's executives, decides to tighten security. However, the gang manages to find a contract to obtain valuable information about the corporation. Jimmy Kurosaki, the informant, is a famous creator of Braindance, a dance game, and other custom cyber games that he sold to Arasaka. Once the gang discovers Jimmy's connection to Arasaka, they plan to kidnap him. When they are about to catch him, Jimmy launches a shockwave at them and manages to take David away. Jimmy begins torturing David to turn him into a cyber psychopath and get footage for his games. At that moment, Lucy and Dorio arrive to save their friend. After rescuing David, Lucy and Dorio capture Jimmy, taking him to their lair and making a deal with him to get Tanaka. He agrees and sets a meeting with Tanaka to set a trap for him. The trap plan works, and they manage to knock Tanaka out, but Jimmy dies in the process. The group takes Tanaka to their hideout and steals the information they need for Faraday, Maine's boss. Thanks to the number of cybernetic parts Maine has implanted in his brain, he begins to become a cyber psychopath. While Kiwi is inside Tanaka's software, Maine becomes violent and ends up beating her up, resulting in Kiwi ending up in the hospital. The plan gets delayed, and Dorio tells Lucy that she has to step up. Lucy agrees, but only on the condition that David is present. Dorio agrees, and Lucy prepares to dive into Tanaka's mind. Meanwhile, Maine is getting worse but still conscious. Lucy goes into Tanaka's software to get the data, but things become complicated when Tanaka starts to wake up. His awakening causes a short circuit, killing Tanaka and alerting the security team, who head to the lair. Dorio tells Lucy and David to go to the car while she and Maine fight Tanaka's security team. After seeing that Dorio and Maine are taking too long, David decides to help them. However, Maine unleashes his madness in the middle of the fight, becoming a cyber psychopath. Dorio dies defending Maine, which causes him to murder several guards and police, thus attracting the anti-cyber psychopath service.